Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm about to do something on this channel that I don't think I've done yet, and I've seen so many other YouTubers do it. It feels like a rite of passage, and it's finally time for your boy to get a turn. The dictionary defines nepotism as the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like the term nepotism baby gets thrown around more and more now, and Google Trends would tell me that I'm right. It's so much so that it feels like it's warped Gen Z's perception of what nepotism means. In online discussions at least, a nepotism baby or a nepo baby is anyone whose parents are famous or wealthy or are working as artists, and usually it's some combination of those three, whether or not the parent actually gave the child a job in their chosen field. The rule of thumb is if you go to that person's Wikipedia page and their parents' names are blue, that's a nepo baby. If it seems like there's more and more nepotism babies every year, that's because there are. There are 8 billion people on this planet, and that number keeps going up. And as it does, so does the number of nepotism babies both here in America and across the USA. A brief but in no way complete list of nepotism babies includes Nick Kroll, Dakota Johnson, Maya Hawke, Maud Apatow, Ben Stiller, Willow and Jaden Smith, Dan Levy, Kendall Roy, Rashida Jones, Wyatt Russell, Carrie Fisher, Jamie Lee Curtis, Gwyneth Paltrow, Laura Dern, Drew Barrymore, and all these other names that are scrolling by. As you can tell, most of them are not actually babies, but are actually full-grown adult people. But some of them act like babies. Those examples are all from the world of pop culture and entertainment, because those are the most visible of the nepotism babies, but it can really happen in any field, which would include people like George W. Bush, Prince Harry, Ben Dreyfuss. The fact that the entertainment nepo baby list spans across multiple generations of performers and is still going, holy shit, that is so many names, shows that this is not a new thing at all. But nepotism has been in the zeitgeist a lot more as of late. And of course, when something is in the zeitgeist, what a fun word that is. From the German for time and spirit. You want to know what other word's been in the zeitgeist a lot more as of late? The word zeitgeist. And of course, when something is in the zeitgeist, celebrities are bound to get questions about it. Especially if it gives them an opportunity to talk about themselves and their struggles and how remarkably they're self-made, just like every other Kennedy. And sometimes they read the room pretty well and say things that are easy to empathize with, like Maud Apatow, who said, "I try not to let it get to me because obviously I understand that I'm in such a lucky position. A lot of people in a similar position have proven themselves over the years, so I've got to keep going and make good work. It's so early in my career, I don't have much to show yet, but hopefully one day I'll be really proud of the stuff I've done by myself." Acknowledging that she's coming from a place of privilege and saying that she hopes she can make good with what she's got. Perfectly fine thing to say. But then you've got people who sell $85 jump ropes saying, as a child of someone, you get access other people don't have, so the playing field is not level in that way. However, I really do feel that once your foot is in the door, which you unfairly got in, then you almost have to work twice as hard and be twice as good. People are ready to pull you down and say, you don't belong there, or you're only there because of your dad or your mom. That was Goop founder and CEO Gwyneth Paltrow, whose name has all the vowels you think it should have. But not in the spot you think they should go. Sort of feels like there was a vowel Freaky Friday and they haven't performed an act of selfless love yet. She was in conversation with Hailey Baldwin Bieber, throw another name on the nepotism list, who said, "I want to do everything on my own without my name being a factor. I try to keep myself separate from it." And yeah, she can try and keep herself separate from it, but she'll fail. She won't be able to do that. Even more recently, Lily Rose Depp said of the label Nepo Baby, "It just doesn't make any sense. If somebody's mom or dad is a doctor, and then the kid becomes a doctor, you're not going to be like, you're only a doctor because your parent is a doctor. It's like, no, I went to medical school and trained." Putting aside the fact that she was a Chanel brand ambassador at 16, a job she got purely from her training and her merit, if your parent is a doctor, it is definitely easier for you to then be a doctor. It's easier for you to be a city council member in Pensacola, Florida, or a Michelin-starred chef, or whatever the hell it is you want to do. if your parent is a doctor. I understand it is not unheard of for there to be generations of family in any industry. If your father was a florist, and his mother was a florist, and her father was a florist, and then you become a florist, no one's going to call you an untalented hack because you're just following in the family business. But if you've been working at your parents' flower shop for 20 years and then say, I never needed them, I was always destined to be a great florist, it was all from my hard work and nothing else, you must be growing black dahlias and nightshade, because those are the flowers of dishonesty and falsehoods. I feel like Ophelia, the way I'm Googling flowers to give to a liar. But if you're an actor or a model or a musician or some other job that people have a harder time seeing as real work, it is. Our collective struggle is against the owning class, and I understand that artists can become part of the owning class, and that's an issue in and of itself for a different video made by a different YouTuber who knows more about theory and less about how the Twilight Saga influenced Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies. People will also have a harder time seeing that as a family business than a conventional job. It's kind of silly to pretend that vaudeville family acts or showbiz families are just pure fiction and have never occurred in the real world. The issue is in not recognizing it's way easier to be a struggling actor if you're not worried about rent or groceries, or if you can get time off work to go to a big audition, or if you're walking into an audition room that's full of people that you already know. I've been auditioning in New York for 3 years, 2 of them in the pandemic, so been to countless auditions, sent in a lot of self-tapes, and every acting job that I've gotten has been because I knew somebody else in the cast. It's the same with basically every other job I've had. Somebody needed something to be done, and then someone else went, oh hey, I know someone who can do that, and they hired me, and I was able to remain gainfully employed. So if I, just some guy, have benefited from nepotism on that small level, imagine what the opportunities are like when your dad's had a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame since 1996. The whole discovering somebody is a nepotism baby phenomenon is very funny to me because it's not like any of them are hiding it. Lily Rose Depp isn't trying to disguise her parentage. Neither is Wyatt Russell. Neither is Maude Apatow. This one is particularly funny to me because when people were collectively realizing that Maude is a nepotism baby, someone on Twitter named Leslie Mann and then called Judd Apatow a movie director. It's so funny to hear him just be a movie director because I remember conversations about whether Judd Apatow was killing comedy movies because of his use of improv and his style and because he was just so ubiquitous with comedies of the 2000s. So to have him go from that, a titan who is going to tear down an entire genre, to a movie director is pretty funny to me. And I bet he would find it funny too. In my head, there are 3 types of nepotism babies. There are nepotism babies who don't really do too much, but are talked about because of who their parents are. Chet Hanks is someone who comes to mind here. No matter what, people are going to talk about the children of an American icon, and I don't think he was getting invited to red carpets because he played Dexter in the Bratz movie. Once he's on the red carpet, he's doing plenty to get people to talk.
Big up the whole island massive. It's your boy Chetana coming straight from the Golden Globes, you want to.
So much so that he was on an episode of Atlanta.
You know, Sylvia was my babysitter too.
Wow.
It was a sad day, but she'd be happy we're out here, you know.
You grow up in Trinidad? Or Jamaica?
No, it's Trinidad and Tobago. And no, I'm from Tribeca.
But it's getting the invite in the first place where the last name helps. Then there are the nepotism babies who should not have gotten as far as they did, and who probably wouldn't have if they had different parents. I would put Jaden Smith here if he only did acting, but he's done other things, and he's done well in them. And a lot of his acting roles are from when he was a kid, so I cut him some slack anyway. People I would put in this category: Rumer Willis, Cara Delevingne, Ansel Elgort. Nothing against them as people, except for Ansel Elgort. I have a lot against him as a person, and I wish that some other white tenor living in New York with a great familiarity with the source material and admiration for Spielberg's work could have been cast in West Side Story. Oh well. I just think if these people were less well connected, they would also be in less multi-million-dollar movies. Valerian, the City of 1,000 Planets, more like the City of 1,000 Bad Ideas. Boom. No, there were a lot of fun ideas, but the story was bad and the acting was worse. And then there are the nepotism babies who got their foot in the door because of their bloodline, but are talented artists who are doing good work. And I would say this is where a vast majority of nepotism babies fall. You can't be in stinker after stinker after stinker and still be getting asked back to do more work. So if someone has remained in the public consciousness, they're obviously doing something that people latch onto. I think most people are fine with nepotism babies as long as they acknowledge that circumstance had something to do with their success, and they're just kind of cool about things in general. There's nothing Jamie Lee Curtis can do to change who her parents are, and she knows that there's a level of privilege that comes with that. Let's get to her quote. "I auditioned many, many, many times, and then it was between me and one other woman, whose name I know but I will never say publicly. I'm sure the fact that I was Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis's daughter, and that my mother had been in Psycho. If you're going to choose between this one and this one, choose the one whose mother was in Psycho, because it will get some press for you. I'm never going to pretend that I just got that on my own, like I'm just a little girl from nowhere getting it. Clearly I had a leg up." And that's what most people are looking for. You don't have to decry the whole system. Just acknowledge that it's not 100% a meritocracy. I do think that people are a little embarrassed to have family or friends in the industry when they're starting out, because we've grown up in a culture that so fetishizes individual merit and the idea of underdogs and people who made it all on their own, when literally no one has ever done that ever in their whole life. Even people who didn't come from wealth, or didn't come from famous parents, or didn't come from parents who were working as artists, had people who helped them along the way. There are always people who help out when you need a survival job, or a hot meal, or somewhere to do laundry, or someone to run lines with. No one goes it alone. We can either end this on an upbeat note with "we're all in this together," or we can sort of sit in this somberness and do "No One Is Alone" from Into the Woods. I guess "Agony" from Into the Woods really is the anthem of nepotism babies. What I'm really waiting on is the YouTuber nepotism babies. So much has already been said about Malibu Barbie Paytas Hackman, and I'm sure so much more will be. And if they want to be an influencer, they certainly will have a lot of tools at their disposal to do so. Or Hank Green's kid, there's a built-in following there already, and that's kind of weird to think about. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it and you wouldn't mind leaving a like or subscribing, I'd really appreciate that too. And now my voice is scratchy because I've been talking for an hour straight. No breaks, no cuts, nothing. This whole thing's getting uploaded to YouTube tonight. I could never do that. I could never upload a video like that. I say having uploaded videos that are already one take. I'm such a liar. I'm such a fool. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.